I'll never forget the very first time I had to do that. I had some people take my tour that could not speak English, and I didn't know ahead of time they couldn't speak English. And I had been, I had done some of these things, but had not ever really spoken to anyone and listened and had a conversation. And I'm telling you, when I was in a position where I had to communicate with them, and I did, and they lit up, and I lit up, and it was the most exciting turning point of my journey, because it gave me so much more determination. It just felt so good. And I'm sure it was horrible, horrible French,
Pourquoi? Comment?
Moi, je m'appelle Marie de Cody-Como. J'habite à Roiville. J'ai une petite entreprise s'appelle Cajun Food Tours.
Pourquoi? Why did you learn French?
I decided to learn French the year I turned 50 years old, because basically I was getting more and more passionate about my culture and realized that there was this piece missing, because in my family, I'm the first generation to grow up without a single word of French. And as I would tell people that in my business, I began to, I guess, be saddened by that. It made me sad, and then it made me kind of angry, and then it made me determined that I wasn't going to let the language of my family die out with me. So I just became determined to learn it.
Comment? How did you go about learning French?
It's kind of the cafeteria plan. I did all sorts of things. Name it, I probably did it. To help me start speaking was probably Pimsleur's. That was another big investment, was Pimsleur CDs. To be hearing it and repeating and speaking it, and to hear myself talk and practice talking. One of the reasons I liked Pimsleur's, because it was a set of CDs, or you could put it on your phone or whatever. But I had a routine in the morning of morning exercise and stretching and stuff. So I put it on every single morning as part of that routine. So it was a half an hour every day, and I just fit it into my morning routine that I was already doing. If you were fixing breakfast or getting ready for work or whatever, you could put it in and do it while you were, doing your hair or whatever. It takes you 30 minutes to do, drive to work or whatever. So I just fit it into the routine that I was already doing. Pimsleur's is standard French, and I wanted more Cajun French. And so I started discovering all the things that are available in Cajun French. What Kirby Jambon has done on YouTube is just priceless, and it's so helpful. And I had taken Kirby's class, his UL continuing ed class. I also took some classes through Alliance Française. I also listen to podcasts. Duolingo has some great podcasts for early on, because it's there's a little bit of English for context if you're not quite understanding it all. It probably took me a couple of years before I was comfortable saying anything out loud to anyone, And so I went to a lot of French tables, and just with a couple of little memorized things, like, can I sit here, and where's the coffee, or something like that. But yeah, I go to a lot of French tables now, and that's probably the most important piece. That has probably become the most important piece, is looking for the opportunities to actually speak to people. All those other things give me confidence, the more I can learn about the sentence structure and the more vocabulary I have, I guess I have more confidence. But there's nothing like actually putting yourself in the position to speak it to people.
Un petit conseil? Got a tip?
I think the best tip is to not be afraid to try. And this is how I got over that, because it's so scary to speak to people. But I put myself in the position of the English speaker when people from other countries talk to me who speak very, very, very poor English. They're just throwing out a few nouns in English, and you can understand them. You, eat, me, pizza, and you can totally understand what they're saying, and you're not judging them. You're not judging them because they don't have a perfect command of the English language. It's just about communicating, and we can communicate. So that has helped me not be afraid to speak to French-speaking people. Allons manger une autre fois.
Merci d'avoir guetté ça. To find out how to get involved, visit us online.